In this example, we're going to calculate the wave equation as shown from a graph. The key things we want to find for the wave equation are the amplitude of the wave, the phase shift theta, the DC offset voltage, and the frequency of the wave. Here's a wave. We'll start off by finding the positive peak voltage, in this case 14 volts, the negative peak voltage, minus 10 volts, and with these two we can find the peak to peak voltage, positive peak minus negative peak, minus 14 minus 10, 24 volts. From the peak to peak voltage we can find the amplitude, simply peak to peak on 2, 12 volts. Once we've got the amplitude, we can get the DC offset voltage. We take the positive peak, we subtract the amplitude, and that gives us the offset voltage, in this case 2 volts. If you look at this graph now, you can see that the line at 2 volts is the center line for the AC wave. The next thing we'll look for is the period of the wave, and from the period of the wave we'll find the frequency. So we find 2 points on the wave that are the same point, and we find the period between them. In this case the period is 10 milliseconds, and from the period we can calculate the frequency. Frequency is 1 over period, 1 over 10 milliseconds, 100 Hertz. The last thing we'll look for is the phase shift theta. If we look at the center line of the AC, the 2 volt line, we can see that the positive going wave crosses it after time equals 0. So this wave is lagging or delayed. So what we need to find out is how big that delay is as a proportion of the period and a proportion of 360 degrees. So we find the 0 crossing, we find the period, the time, delta t is 0.833 milliseconds. With delta t over t, we'll get the proportion of the wave, and if we multiply that by 360 degrees, we can get an angle. So in this case, minus 0.833 milliseconds divided by 10 milliseconds times 360 degrees gives us minus 30 degrees. So we've found all 4 items. We found the amplitude, 12 volts. We found the DC offset, 2 volts. We found the frequency, 100 Hertz. And we found theta, the phase shift, minus 30 degrees.